anticipated federal, state, or local dollars through 2055 made the list. From now until July 19th, you can comment online, by email, by mail, or at several community pop-up events across the region.
The Gaston County Animal Shelter says it is overwhelmed and needs your help to save lives. The agency says it's double over capacity with dogs. Right now, only taking in emergency intakes. The agency says it's hoping folks will consider fostering or maybe adopting a dog to help out.
And Chimney Rock State Park is preparing to reopen for the first time since the storm hit. Starting Monday, visitors can officially book their reservations. The park is expected to reopen next Friday, marking a major milestone in the area's recovery.
All right, if your morning commute takes you on to I-485 northbound, listen to this one. Your TV screen is showing some red right there because we have an accident right there. Exit 32, that's Tryon Street. You're delayed about 5 minutes, so make sure you do allow for a few extra minutes to get to where you need to be for your Friday morning commute. Chris?
Well, here it is. I'm collecting 90s. I got a 90, a 93, 95, 97, 98, 99, and a 96. So we pretty much have them all. Just missing 91 and 92 and a couple of my collection. So that's what you want, right? Well, we are officially calling it summer at 10:41. That is the summer solstice. So for the first weekend of summer, Ben, if you wanted a pool day, this is epic. You choose your day.
Okay. Ben, if you wanted a pool party, any of the days will work for us.
Wait, Ben, you got a pool?
Good to know. Good to know.
Oh, man, I'm putting him on blast. Bail, Chris, bail. Well, next week, you are looking at temperatures close to 100 degrees, 99 on Tuesday, each day feeling like 100 to 105.
That's hot. That's very hot. All right, folks, a reminder, the news does not end here. We are live all day long with breaking news, weather, and traffic.
We're streaming now on WCNC Plus. That starts in just a few minutes at 7 a.m. We'll see you there.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg. And for Lisa, a live look at Uptown, another hot day ahead. Chris has the weather impact forecast for us. Chris?
Limited impacts today, but then the heat's going to be the biggest impact heading into next week. Got a bunch of popsicles ready for everybody, all four of us. And you have the pick of the week, taking a break really from those storm chances starting today through early next week. It's really not until Wednesday that we even have a chance for an isolated storm for the time being. And this weekend, each day getting hotter, but it's next week really the bottom line here, the real feel. 100 to 105. Get ready, everybody. We're officially calling it summer later on tonight and this weekend, which also promotes the longest period of daylight or the longest day length of the year. So today and tomorrow, each will have 14 hours, 32 minutes, and 1 second of daylight. Sunrise time is at 6:09 going until 8:41. Enjoy it. After this, it only gets seconds shorter, so it's not really a big drop off over the next month or so. Our current temperature is 71 degrees right now in Charlotte, 64 degrees in Lincoln. We're living our lows for the time being, 65 for you in Hickory, and 60 is really pleasant right around Boone. We have lower dew points as well, so we're going to have a drier afternoon, so not really a big difference from how we feel to the actual air temperature, where 87 could feel more like 88, 89 actually feeling like 89 by the end of the afternoon. So we're mainly in the upper 80s throughout the afternoon, but we will just barely touch that 90-degree point from some spots, but mainly the upper 80s is where we're living for the afternoon hours. Sunset time, already mentioned that. After 8:41, you can expect those temperatures to drop down into the lower 80s to the upper 70s to complete our evening. We do have warmer lows on the way, and all in all, it's actually been a really warm month so far for our lows alone. We're averaging around 69 degrees for all of our lows combined over the last 19 days. That's actually the 12th warmest starts to our mornings in the month of June in Charlotte history. Random stat, I know. And then up to 77 for the warmest morning of the month on Tuesday, leveling out in the mid-70s thereafter. Our weekend forecast looking great. I definitely suggest getting whatever waterworks you have, even if it's a sprinkler for the kids. 93 degrees on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. We just need to get past 91, and it's the hottest day of the year. So you have back to back to back hottest days of the year, and I'll show you why here in a second. You can see our heat indices on the rise as well, feeling like 100 plus on Monday, and we're even going to be close to 100 for our actual air temperature the middle of next week. 99 Tuesday, 98 degrees on Wednesday, with our slight rain chances returning a little bit later on in the week. Stay cool, everybody. Get ready for the first big heat wave of the season. Hopefully don't really have too much of a wave of traffic. Let's see what's going on with Majestic. Good morning.
All right, good Friday morning, everyone. It is beautiful outside, so as you're heading out the door, grab those sunglasses and take it easy. I-77 here. Want to show you that coming in from York County. Not seeing anything too out of the ordinary, so we'll take it. Do have a couple of minor incidents, though. This one will really be our watch spot. You can see those backups that are already starting to build. It's on I-485 northbound lane, so the outer loop being impacted by that. It's at exit 32. That's Tryon Street. Your delays are at about 5 minutes right now. Just to the south, another one looks like it's more in a neighborhood. It's Shady Oak and Sharon's Lake Road, so we'll continue to see if that brings any bigger impacts. Right now, very minor. And yes, those buildups on I-85 inbound, they are here. You can see that orange popping up. No accidents, just kind of a typical Friday morning commute. Quick peek at those drive times. If you're coming in from Belmont, good morning to you. About 24 minutes to get you into Uptown.
Right now, Charlotte transit leaders want your thoughts on several major projects planned over the next 30 years, but neighbors have just under a month to make their voices heard.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live this morning in Uptown, explaining where to go to weigh in and what it means for your commute. Destiny.
Yeah, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan for 2025, or MTP, is basically a roadmap for growth across the Charlotte region. It's a list of road projects, road and transit projects over the next 30 years, and that list is now available for public feedback. Now, the plan includes roadway and transit projects to improve things like safety and connectivity, but only projects that can be funded with anticipated federal, state, or local dollars through 2055 made the list. The goal was to choose projects that are needed, but also sustainable and financially realistic. On Tuesday, the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization approved the list, and they're asking for public feedback through July 19th. You can do this in several ways. You can comment online, you can email, send physical mail, or in person, you can show up to several community pop-up events throughout the region. The next couple of pop-ups are on June 28th, that's next Saturday, at the Huntersville Growers Market, the Union County Farmers Market, and at an entrepreneur event in Mooresville. There will be also 4 others in Charlotte coming up on dates July 1st through the 15th. And you can also speak directly to the CRTPO board. They have a couple of upcoming meetings. The next one is on July 16th and then another on August 20th. So that is one in-person opportunity outside of the July 19th window. So there's time for public comment directly to them. They're going to be making the final decision on this. And this is all set to be approved on March 26th. So that is the next step in phase 3, is to finalize this list and have it approved next year in 2026. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Uptown.
All right, Destiny, thank you so much for letting us know that information.
7:06 right now on WCNC Plus, and this morning crews continue to survey the rock slide on I-40. This is an aerial view of the scene along the Tennessee state line. It shows just how widespread some of that damage is. Crews tell us it might be 2 weeks until they can fully clear the rock slide and the flooding debris. This portion already heavily damaged by Helene and only had one lane open in each direction as those repairs were underway. The Tennessee DOT says, in some good news, all stuck vehicles have been removed. They provided an update for us last night right here on WCNC Plus.
What are the concerns going through this severe weather season that you guys are still thinking on? Do you think this could happen again potentially?
It's certainly possible. This is an area that has proven to be prone to rock slides and mudslides, some flooding. So seeing what we've seen since yesterday is not extremely foreign. I mean, it's something that folks in this area are used to. The good news, at least, is that while there's a lot of debris on the roadway, a lot of mud, still standing water that we've got to wait to when that recedes, the good news is that this is not nearly as extensive as what we saw with Hurricane Helene. I mean, that wasn't just a generational storm. That was a multi-generational storm. It was something we've never seen before in our part of the country. Hopefully we never see that again. The work for this rock slide and flooding, we anticipated taking about 2 weeks until we get I-40 back to what it was before Wednesday afternoon. And our crews and our contractors will work diligently to get this roadway back open as quickly as possible.
My next question, Mark, is about those detours. I know you guys already have those up there. What should drivers realize as they are getting towards this area, and what detours would you suggest for folks to use?
Well, it's a good thing that there are multiple interstates in this area that folks can use to get around the state line, Tennessee, North Carolina on I-40. So we're telling folks in Tennessee that they should use I-81 north and then take that to I-26 east and access North Carolina that way. Wide loads, much like it was during Hurricane Helene, before we got I-40 open on both sides of the state line. We're telling those wide loads to use I-81 north to I-77 south into Virginia and then back into North Carolina that way. So it does add some time, obviously, to folks that are trying to get to and from their vacation spots, just to and from their normal daily activities. But the most important thing is here that those interstates will keep them safe, because it's just not safe to travel between I-40, between Tennessee and North Carolina on I-40 right now, which is why we have it shut down.
There's so much going on day to day. So what does that look like for folks that aren't there, just behind the scenes?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that pictures and video really do it justice, what has happened to I-40 in Tennessee and North Carolina. And as bad as it is on our side of the state line, the amount of earth that was washed away on September 27th of 2024, North Carolina has it pretty bad as well. So this, unfortunately, unfortunately, is not the type of thing that can be a quick rebuild to have 2 lanes open in each direction on both sides of the state line. This is a long-term reconstruction project for both the TDOT, both the Tennessee Department of Transportation as well as the NCDOT. We talk with them all the time. We work with them all the time in trying to find the best ways to keep that traffic flowing, both for your normal everyday travelers and as well as all the commercial traffic that has to go through this area. So, we understand that, having that detour, while it is safer, it does add a lot of time. It can delay things. But again, the most important thing is to try to keep everybody safe here. And that's what we are dedicated to do.
So many people go up to Gatlinburg and then go up to Knoxville as well and try to use I-40. So any other things that you just wanted to make note of?
I would tell folks that you should always adhere to all message boards that are on these roadways. And if you have any questions about what's going on in the Tennessee side of the state line, go to smartway.tn.gov. It gives real-time information as to what's happening on our interstates and state routes. So if there are crashes, if there are backups, roadways that are closed, obviously like I-40 at the state line, we have our traffic cameras on there as well. It's a terrific resource for folks to use. You should definitely check it out before you get behind the wheel, but obviously don't use that resource when you are driving. Make sure that you're keeping your phone hands-free.
This morning, people in the mountain counties waking up to downed trees and other damages.
WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard went to Caldwell County to see the damage for herself, and she spoke with neighbors there who tell WCNC Charlotte they have never seen a storm like this one.
Well, the people I've spoken to in this community say this storm was worse than Helene. They say it came and it went pretty quickly, but not without leaving behind extensive damage. Take a look. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a driveway. And right now, neighbors are trying to figure out exactly how they're going to commute in and out and get out of here safely. Right now, they're trying to fill the holes good enough for them to safely drive over. Once again, this just one part of the community that's suffering from extensive damage, from fallen trees to even homes flooding. I spoke to folks who say they would have never prepared for something like this.
She said it got bad, but not this bad. It was, like I said, she's 5'4", and she said it was past her kneecaps. So if I was standing, it would be by my shins. Oh, God. So, yeah, we had to take a lot of the stuff and had to move out and then take our dogs that we have 4 of and bring them by our mom and dad's house.
I've lived here 54 years and never seen it like this. If we see the state come in here, we know that it's a serious situation.
Now, we did have local and state crews out here trying to help clean up, remove some debris, restore power to folks who are still currently sitting in the dark. Of course, as we continue to learn more, we'll be sure to keep you updated. Reporting in Caldwell County, Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
I know this will not be news to the meteorologists, but it is always surprising. Yesterday at my house, sunny all day long. But I certainly know other people, across the area who saw a lot of storms and rain.
And that's one of the biggest misconceptions, because we had our weather alert window, and then the problem is like, oh man, it's a big miss, and it was just like, yes, for us, we can be thankful. But then other areas just saw one storm after another. It was really just from Caldwell County, parts of Alexander County, and then also heading up to parts of the mountains that just had some really mean storms, and there's a lot of wind damage, especially up in Virginia. So we can thank our lucky stars that we didn't see here in Charlotte, but not so much as you were just seeing there from Tradisha's report. And here's a look at actually the radar that we saw, and this is one of the biggest problems you can have. So you had one mean storm, and notice how it was one storm after another. That's where we had some of the wind damage, and those are rain rates at over 2 inches per hour. So that's called training rain, where one storm goes after another, that caused all of that flooding. So very isolated that we saw the damage there, but still turned out. And we are also looking at some good news outside of all the rain that we just saw. Our drought monitor was updated yesterday, and for the first time that we've had since early to mid-October, and sadly that was after Helene, we actually have a drought-free drought monitor. Not one area is even abnormally dry, so 0% of the map is currently filled, so always really nice to see that change. Going forward, though, we're really looking at an interesting change in our weather pattern. So this is all about the jet stream. So what's going to happen over the coming days, this is called a ridge. So a ridge is going to build, and that is going to create what we've been saying is a heat dome, and heat domes lead to heat waves. This is a big old high pressure system that you can see the rotation. It's going in a clockwise fashion. So that is going to just keep that continual flow. High pressure systems are also notorious for giving days of sunshine and no rain. So the lack of cloud cover, the lack of any shift in winds, we're just going to see each day getting hotter. And looking at the long range, you see this start to break down a little bit, but it's still hovering around even through this coming weekend. That I've been looking at some of the longer range models that we have here. We have the 6 to 10 day outlook. This goes through pretty much the end of June, and it has us under a 90% chance that we have above average temperatures. And by that point, we're talking about an average high of 90 degrees. That means likely we're going to be at least in the mid 90s, really starting on Monday all the way through next weekend. And also the max of those temperatures, well, likely getting close to 100 degrees. So let's get to our 10-10-10 forecast. This is showing the next 10 days for our highs, lows, and our precipitation chances. This is the bottom. So I've been calling today my pick of the week because it just separates from all the rest. It's the least humid, it's the least hot, and then before you know it, that is a straight up climb close to 100 degrees. That there will be some of us here, even in our 22 county viewing area, that will receive 100 degree point for their high temperature, and then 98 down to 96, and then you can see it starting to come down a little bit, still do about 94. This isn't unusual. We have these surges all the time to begin the summer season, where officially tomorrow is the first full day of summer. I just want everyone to know that we're going to get dangerously hot, especially with heat index trying to get to 105, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. Another problem is we don't have a lot of recovery time. You ideally want a cooler low. 70 degrees is cool enough, but if you're close to 80 degrees for your starting point, and that's on Tuesday morning, that doesn't allow the bodies to recover as much. So sometimes you actually deal with fatigue and you don't even realize it, but it actually ups your level and your chance for heat exhaustion. So just don't overexert yourself. Honestly, just stay as hydrated as possible. Your body gives you signs, telltale signs of what to do and what not to do. So just listen especially closely over the coming days. As far as our precipitation chances go, a whole lot of nothing. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, you don't have to worry about a pop-up shower and thunderstorm that is oh so common during the summer season, but we start to see a shift of that as that dome starts to break down a little bit. We'll see more clouds come Wednesday, Thursday, heading into the weekend, so we'll at least have a chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm in the near term. I would start watering at night. The evening times, that's the best thing to do, because a lot of those precious plants aren't going to fare well, especially with this oppressive heat that'll only build starting tomorrow. Let's get it over to our morning commute with Majestic Storm, see how things are faring as we continue through the 7 o'clock hour.
Well, good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. It's a beautiful start to our Friday morning. It's going to be a warm one, lots of sunshine out there. Grab those sunglasses. You will absolutely need that. And with such nice conditions, I have a feeling lots of people will be out and about walking, riding their bikes, getting out and enjoying the nice conditions before it really starts to crank up. So be mindful that we're going to see those people out on those roads. Let's get to it. A couple of things I want to let you know about. One thing I'm noticing right here is we now have a blocked lane. It's at Westinghouse eastbound, just past Texland Boulevard. You can see a picture of that. It's actually a dump truck that's right in that center lane right there. Some traffic is starting to build just a little bit, but as you can see, there's still plenty of room for people to get around that at this time, so it's not completely shutting things down. Another minor one here, it's on Shady Oak and Sharon's Lake Road. It looks like that's mainly in a neighborhood, so again, not impacting a lot of people for your morning commute. But this one, a little bit of a different story. Still watching it. It's to the left-hand shoulder. There's a crash there on I-485, the outer loop of that at exit 32. That's at South Tryon Street. Right now, delays are at about 5 minutes. Ben.
Majestic, thanks. Charlotte viewers asking why a bridge project that is years behind schedule isn't finished or at least being worked on.
WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson got some answers tonight.
Well, every morning in Belmont, thousands of people get ready and jump in their cars to head to Charlotte. They typically end up taking Wilkinson Boulevard, specifically using the Wilkinson Boulevard Bridge over Lake Wiley. Years ago, NCDOT announced that the bridge would be replaced, but now, years later, no construction has started.
For Mike Landers, the news of the bridge replacement was one he welcomed. And I remember thinking, amen.
But so far, the bridge looks just like it did when WCNC Charlotte reported on the project back in 2022.
No, it's crickets over there.
At the time, NCDOT says construction would start in the summer of 2023 and would widen the bridge to 6 lanes.
With the increased traffic over the last few years, because Belmont it's sort of caught on as as a place to live. They've been building like crazy here. The traffic in either direction is nuts.
It would also include a multi-path way separated by a concrete barrier on both sides of the bridge, while also raising the midpoint to create a better clearance for boats. NCDOT said the project completion is still years away, adding in a statement, utility relocation is underway. Permitting and right-of-way acquisition for this project took longer than originally anticipated, but should be finished this summer. We expect to advertise the project for bids later this year, and we hope construction will begin in early spring and expect it to last about 2 years. Reporting on the Gaston-Mecklenburg County line, Walker Lawson, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, listen up, pet owners. If you think your four-legged friend is the best and should be seen by everyone, now is your chance. The Humane Society of Charlotte and Noda Brewing Company are entering their final stretch of their Rescue Brew contest.
WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle explains how you could get your pet's face on your favorite can of beer.
If your pet loves the camera, or maybe not, they could be right there on one of Charlotte's most popular brews. The Humane Society of Charlotte and Noda Brewing have teamed up for the annual Rescue Brew 2025.
Who doesn't want their pet on a can of beer? It winds up being a huge competition every year, which is fabulous. And it started 5 years ago. It was an idea from our team that we brought forward to the Humane Society of Charlotte, and they ran with it. And it's just been such a great partnership for the last 5 years.
It's not your average modeling gig, but for one lucky dog and one special cat, it's a chance to be featured front and center on a can of craft beer and a calendar. Kelly Heiler is the marketing director of Noda Brewing.
Every year we sell all the cans.
The Humane Society's Meg Doherty says it's a great way to celebrate our pets and raise funds at the same time.
We love this competition. We love seeing people submit their pets and vote, and the friendly competition that ensues in that last day of voting is always so fun to watch. And at the core of this, all the funds raised are helping animals here in our care at the Humane Society of Charlotte, so it's really fueling our mission.
Twitter pet parents submit a photo, share why their pet is the perfect pick, and then their votes roll in. Each $1 donation counts as one vote, with all proceeds supporting the Humane Society.
So we're hoping to raise $80,000 with this competition, and all of those funds will help to support our mission here to support pets and people in the Charlotte community.
Your cat or your dog. Rescue Brew 2025. It's a furry competition for your cat or your dog. You'll find the link on our website, WCNC.com. At the Humane Society of Charlotte, I'm Larry Sprinkle, WCNC Charlotte.
And listen, if you think that your pet has what it takes to be a model, you have until this Monday night, a few days away, midnight, to enter.
Yeah.
There you go. Big chance. Well, this morning, Gaston County, the animal shelter there, says it is overwhelmed and it needs your help. The agency posting on Facebook last night that it's significantly over capacity with dogs. It has 120 dogs in care and only 60 kennels. It's only doing emergency intakes until further notice. The agency says it's hoping folks will consider fostering or adopting a dog to help with that strain. The agency adoption fees are covered through July 4th.
Well, it's time to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. A 400% pay raise for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders is making waves, and it could mean big changes for squads across the NFL.
After years of low wages and high-profile lawsuits, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders just secured a massive pay bump, revealed in the season finale of their hit Netflix series. Let's connect the dots. Veterans on the squad could now make more than $75 an hour, up from just $15 an hour last year. For perspective, the Carolina Panthers' top cats right here in Charlotte currently earn about $75,000 a year, one of the highest rates in the league. The Cowboys' raise comes after a surge of public support and years of pressure for fairer pay. Cheerleaders are athletes, brand ambassadors, and community faces, yet many have juggled full-time jobs just to make ends meet. With the Cowboys setting a new standard, other teams, including the Panthers, could soon feel pressure to boost pay and benefits for their own squads. The fight for fair pay isn't over, but this raise signals a shift, one that could lift up cheerleaders across the NFL, including right here in the Queen City. And that's Connecting the Dots.
Well, we are officially less than 1 week away from the NBA draft. Join us on the big day next Wednesday, June 25th, for draft day coverage. You can download WCNC Plus. Probably already have it, though. You can watch it for free. Again, that's next week. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over Uptown on this Friday morning. Chris says it's his pick of the week because, I mean, it's going to be hot, but it's not going to be as hot as, say, next week. He's got more details coming up. Plus, Majestic has a look at your morning commute right here on WCNC Plus.
Those Carolina Blues look amazing right now. It's 65 degrees right now in Hickory, 71 degrees around Charlotte, 72 for you in Monroe. And going forward, it's actually only going to get sunnier as we continue throughout the rest of today. You're expecting high temperatures right around 90 degrees, which, by the way, is going to be the coolest high temperature that we have going forward over the next several days. So sunshine will stay with us, and most you're going to be seeing a few more clouds that join us. Barely a heat index where 88 feels like 88 by 4 o'clock. So most may be feeling 1 to 2 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. Night's also looking like a great forecast to go to a little bit later on in the day, saying rain-free, high temperatures in the lower to the mid-90s through this coming weekend. Majestic, what do we need to know about this morning commute so far?
It's a pretty nice start to our Friday morning. Lots of sunshine as we're heading into the weekend. I-85, mile marker 40, that's right there at Graham. You can see traffic is flowing just fine for most of us. Two things that I want you to know about as you're heading out the door this morning. This one right here, it's a blocked lane. It's on Westinghouse eastbound, just past Texland Boulevard. You can see there's actually a dump truck right in the middle of the street that's slowing things down just a little bit. And then another one here, it's on I-485 northbound at exit 32. That's at Tryon Street. We'll have more coming up on WCNC Plus. Hope to see you then.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Megan Bragg, filling in for Lisa.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Let's go to live pictures right now from Lake Norman. It's going to be a good day to be out there on the water. Actually, not just today, but for several days here to come. And no relief is in sight with this hot weather. In fact, next week, the forecast calling for dangerous heat.
WCNC Charlotte's Anna King reports on how local groups are stepping up to help those most at risk.
Yeah, with feels like temperatures pushing past 100 degrees this week, staying cool isn't about comfort, it's about survival. Now, county leaders and organizations like Block Love Charlotte are looking for ways to help those who need it most. Right now, temperatures are hitting dangerously high numbers. And for many across Charlotte, there's relief in the AC at home. But for others, there can be nowhere to go.
Normally in the afternoon, it's just a trickle. Today, we are already full.
Block Love Charlotte is one organization that's opened their doors to help with ice, cold water, and a cool place to sit down for those with no way to escape the heat.
Last evening, we had a packed house, including children, larger families.
And people who would otherwise be sweating it out on the hot sidewalks are finding shelter and a little bit of peace.
It's been so hot lately. She's like an angel to me. She's a good lady. She's like my second mom that I never had.
And it's not just unhoused people facing danger in this extreme heat. Mecklenburg County is also working to help older residents stay safe. In partnership with Duke Energy, the county is giving out free box fans to seniors while supplies last. And with the worst of summer still to come, organizations say they aren't slowing down.
We're going to continue to have our doors open, making sure people know they have somewhere to go.
In Charlotte, Anna King, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, Chris joins us right now. Yeah, we say dangerous heat. I mean, there are people we sometimes forget, neighbors who might not have AC or have broken AC, and that's when temperatures like this get just dangerous.
Yeah, it's about that 103 to 105 range that it starts to be rough for us. Now, some people can get more acclimated to it. Of course, the areas of Texas do that all the time. And it's usually the first one that gets to you. So that's why we always suggest to be near water, do everything you can to cool down. And if you are feeling fatigued, go inside, cool down if you have the ability to, or go to the pool if you can, because it isn't just pool weather. We have bed-approved pool days.
Look how cute.
This is really an official declaration.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Look at your little face.
Do not go to the pool unless we have a Ben decree that it is
I
a official
love
pool day.
this.
Right.
And we have a pool day today and also a pool day tomorrow, and then pretty much each and every day. But of course, we focus in on the weekend because it's the best day to go to the pool. The best thing about this, 0% chance for rain. So there's nothing that's going to ruin it for you. Just stay cool and don't overexert yourself and enjoy yourself. We just have sprinklers and slip and slides, so that's how we're going to be cooling down. And then going forward, here is what you can expect. Temperatures right now to start off your Ben-approved pool day. 71 right around Charlotte, 72 in Monroe, 70 degrees in Lancaster, and the warm spot, Rockingham, you are at 74 degrees, even though Fayetteville, you're beating them by 1 degree at 75 as well. Our afternoon forecast looking good. We have wall-to-wall sunshine right now, so you barely have a cloud in the sky, but that is going to change. I think you would pick up a few more clouds by the end of the day. Not a big deal there. And we're barely looking at a real feel that is going to be a big difference from the temperature. So that's also another reason why I've been calling today my pick of the week. Absolutely gorgeous conditions. Get outside and enjoy it, because eventually we're going to be feeling like 100 to 105. And that's where we're getting that danger level. Sunset time at 8:41. Today and tomorrow, by the way, are the longest periods of daylight, well over 14 hours. And then it starts to get a little bit shorter after that. And then our warmer lows are also going to be a continual trend. We've had most lows right around 70 to 75 over the last several days. It's actually been one of the warmest set of lows that June's ever had within the top 15. And then only getting warmer, a low of 77 on Tuesday. That's astronomical. That's nearly 10 degrees above the normal for this time of the year, and the mid 70s after that. For this weekend, hottest temperatures of the year. The hottest we've been so far, twice we hit 91. We're easily, I think, going to beat that Saturday and Sunday. And then eventually, a heat dome, a heat wave will start to build on itself. Sometimes it's kind of tough to crack into this zone, tough to get into the mid 90s, but then once you do it, it's pretty much easy day by day. And if you add a little bit more moisture, and that's what we're going to have by the end of the weekend, that's where you're really feeling it, and that's where it gets into that danger zone. So once you see the pink bars on this graph, we're always going to show 5 days out, especially when we have these type of conditions. 102 to 104 to right around that 105 is what we're expecting on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This heat dome, it's going to build over the weekend, and it's not going to waver much. I really don't see this dying back until after next weekend, so that means you can expect at least the mid to the upper 90s starting on Sunday and pretty much continuing 7 to 10 days after that. So pretty crazy long term. Our rain chances, null and void. Don't worry about it this weekend. Monday, Tuesday, I think we're still storm free. Now, I will say there is an exception. For those of you in the mountains, you're not going to be nearly as hot. You could have an isolated shower today, most of you staying dry, and then after that, we're heading into the dry trend for you as well once that big old high or that heat dome sets up. But the good news is we don't need it. Sometimes you're like, oh no, it's going to be dry. That's not great for our drought status. No, for the first time since October 1st in South Carolina and October 15th for North Carolina, we are drought free, even abnormally dry free from this drought monitor. So you're not going to see this graphic for quite some time, hopefully a very long time. You don't need another drought. 7-day forecast showing a slow stair climb on the up and up. I have a range of 90 to 99 over the next 7 days. So we have some hotter days next week, to say the least. More cloud cover possible, which will cool us down a few degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. But wow, we turned on summer in a flash. Summer solstice, especially at 10:41 this evening. And then we're immediately feeling like summer majestic. So we waste no time.
Not at all. And, you know, as you're heading out the door this morning, you're going to notice more people out on those area roadways. Many people had the day off from work yesterday. And I think with such nice conditions this morning, we'll also see a lot more people walking, running, riding their bikes, maybe on their motorcycles as well. So just make sure you're being very mindful of that. There's a live look outside. I-85 looking pretty good as we are waking up and starting our Friday morning. Hopefully you're off to a great start to your day. Again, not seeing anything too majorly concerning. Again, there's a live look outside. I-85. I do want to break down a couple of things, though, if you are getting ready to head out, because I have my eyes on a few things here. Let me just switch my graphics over really quickly. This one right here, it's a blocked lane, and we have a dump truck that's in the middle of the street. It's at Westinghouse eastbound, just past Texland Boulevard. You can see a picture there, and then just off to the east of Charlotte, you can see I-485. There's a crash that's impacting I-485, the outer loop there, heading north. It's at exit 32 and Tryon Street. And then this one just popped up, not seeing any major concerns with it. It's on Madison Ave and Clifton Street. I'll keep a close eye on everything for you over the next hour and a half.
Majestic, thanks. 7:38 right now on WCNC Plus. And amid fresh airstrikes between Israel and Iran, we're tracking a new deadline for President Trump to decide on whether to order a U.S. airstrike targeting Iran's nuclear program. NBC's Alice Barr breaking down that timeline for us this morning.
Upping the pressure for a diplomatic deal with Iran, President Trump setting a new timeline for his decision on whether the U.S. will strike nuclear targets inside Iran. The White House press secretary quoting the president.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
European diplomats meeting today with Iranian officials in Geneva, while inside the White House, President Trump is increasingly relying on a small group of advisors, including his vice president and secretary of state, to make his choice. That's according to 2 defense officials and a senior administration official, who also say Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has been sidelined. The president recently publicly dismissed her March testimony that the intelligence community did not believe Iranian leadership had authorized building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
The White House asserting Iran has all it needs to make a bomb, and though the process would take time, President Trump is adamant that cannot happen.
Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Too much devastation. And they'd use it. You know, I believe they'd use it.
Only the U.S. has the bunker-busting bombs that could destroy a critical underground Iranian nuclear facility, though a decision to strike could provoke an attack on U.S. military bases in the Middle East and interrupt the global energy supply. President Trump has maintained he does not want to get into a prolonged conflict, while also making clear any targeting of U.S. troops would bring a forceful response, seeking to walk a line between his support for Israel and his campaign promise to avoid foreign entanglements. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, new this morning, an appeals court extended an order allowing President Trump to keep using the National Guard to respond to immigration protests in Los Angeles.
In its decision, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Mr. Trump acted within his authority. The court said that while presidents don't have unrestrained power to seize control of the state's guard, the Trump administration had presented enough evidence to show it had defensible reason for doing so, citing the violent acts by certain protesters. The recent activation of the National Guard troops in L.A. was the first by a president without the governor's permission since 1965.
Trending this morning, Major League Baseball now at the center of ICE protests. The LA Dodgers say they denied a request from ICE agents to access the parking lot at Dodger Stadium last night. Alex Rozier reports.
Anti-ICE protesters showed up at Dodger Stadium after several federal agents pulled over near the ballpark. LA City Council member Eunices Hernandez.
It's been shared with us that the Dodgers have asked the federal agents to leave.
The Dodgers post on X said ICE agents came to Dodger Stadium and requested permission to access the parking lots. The team said they were denied entry to the grounds by the organization. But ICE responded to the Dodgers post saying, quote, false, we were never there. The Department of Homeland Security also replied to the Dodgers and said Border Patrol vehicles were in the stadium parking lot very briefly, unrelated to any operation or enforcement. This commotion comes on the same day the Dodgers reportedly will announce plans to help immigrant communities. But after 2 weeks of protests and an increase in immigration enforcement, so far the team's been silent.
Where are you at, Dodgers?
And some fans are fed up.
For the largest community that they have in this area, they're the largest economic engine, and they're going to stay silent.
I'm kind of reaching my limit. I don't know how much longer I can continue to support an organization that is integral to my life and a part of my identity as a Los Angelino. I'm really hoping that the Dodgers speak up.
But not all Dodger fans agree on the immigration issue.
I support Trump. I support Dodgers. Yeah, I love the Dodgers.
Caleb stopped by the protest showing his support for ICE, and that didn't sit well with protesters.
True. Tell me what it would feel like for someone to come and rip your family away from you.
If a person is here legally, I have no problem. I love all people of all races. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate you if you're illegal, if you don't have your papers. What I don't like is that you have people who came across the right way, who went through the process. That's a slap in the face to them.
So for now, as fans wait to hear if the Dodgers have something to say about immigration, tensions are high outside the ballpark.
The Supreme Court recently ruled to uphold a Tennessee law restricting gender-affirming care for minors, but the impacts could stretch far beyond just that state. North Carolina State's Treasurer joined us on WCNC Plus last night to break it down. State Treasurer Brad Briner says it is likely to have a significant impact as more than 20 states have laws similar to the one in Tennessee. That includes a current lawsuit involving what is covered under North Carolina health care.
Yes. So what happened in Tennessee and what's going on in North Carolina are very different things, but they relate to the same issue. In North Carolina, the basis of this litigation is really around who pays for these procedures, whereas in Tennessee, it's whether these bans can exist at all. But they should be resolved by virtue of the Supreme Court's ruling yesterday conjunctively. For us, it's a question of whether the state health plan can or will pay for any related procedures to these.
Okay. And I know that there are more than 20 other states that have similar type of laws in some sense. And I guess my question to you is, have you spoken to other states on what could happen? And do you see potentially a ripple effect, just like we may see here in North Carolina, that we will see in other states because of the ruling we saw in Tennessee?
And most of those other cases, at least as I understand it, are really around the legality of the procedures and the laws that have been passed in those states. I'm certainly not an expert in West Virginia law or other states, but for us, it is really about whether the state health plan can cover these procedures, can use state funds to pay for them. We're subject to an injunction, as I think you know, where we are covering these procedures right now, and we have been for the last 3 years. We did for 1 year back in 2016, but other than that, have not for the better part of 25 years here. So what we really want to hear from the Supreme Court here and expect that we will hear is that we can manage the North Carolina State Health Plan in accordance with the wishes of North Carolinians. And that's why we fought this case to its end.
Again, you can see conversations just like this one and much more first on WCNC Plus on your mobile device or TV. You can watch for free.
Western North Carolina continues to come together after nearly 9 months when Hurricane Helene hit. This week, pet brand Chewy donated more than 30 tons of dog and cat food to folks impacted by the storm. This video was sent to us from a viewer showing folks loading up a tractor trailer at the Boone United Methodist Church on Tuesday. Church says they gave out the food to roughly 400 families. Meantime, Chimney Rock State Park preparing to reopen for the first time since the storm. Starting Monday, visitors can officially book their reservations. The park expected to reopen 1 week from today, Friday, marking what will be a major milestone in that area's recovery. Officials say you can expect limited capacity and hours while the park adjusts to welcoming back visitors. A huge sign of a comeback there. Chimney Rock, such an iconic place here in North Carolina. So many of the pictures we see of North Carolina includes Chimney Rock. So great news there. All right, turning back to your forecast. Chris Mulcahy standing by. Get ready for heat, and then more heat, and then some heat after that.
Yeah, I've been calling this my hotter, and hottest forecast. So by far, we're going to have some of our hottest temperatures of the year. So let me step out of the way. Talk about how your car is going to get much hotter over a 10-minute period. At 95, will actually feel more like 114, but after an hour, it's like more like 138. It's pretty substantial. So what happens in this case and scenario, the science of it all, car traps the heat, just kind of like the greenhouse gas trapping everything. So the greenhouse, all that heat goes in and it doesn't really escape too much. So it just sits and stews. So when we hit 99 a little bit later on this week, 99 after just 10 minutes will make it feel like 118 degrees, 128 after 20 minutes. So I want you to keep that in mind. That's why they say don't leave the pets in the car unless you have the running AC. Technically not supposed to leave the car running either, but that's a different story. Our heat-related fatality since 2004, heat is actually the biggest killer worldwide of any other weather event. The biggest severe weather killer is flooding, but regardless, over the last 5 years has been 1,500 heat-related deaths here in the United States. All of this is courtesy of the CDC, so these stats are just absolutely staggering what we've had, and especially in 2023, we had over 2,300 deaths, so that's just an average that you were seeing there for that yellow number. Also, you got to think about surface temperatures as well. The high of 90 degrees is the bottom, but it still affects things. In the shade, you feel either the actual air temperature or to 85. In direct sunshine, one of the biggest stats that I like to say anytime we have a trend like this, 90 will still feel like 100 if you're in direct sunshine. So sometimes you got to factor in an extra 10 to 15 degrees about how you're actually going to be feeling. Concrete, even at 90 degrees, 130 plus. The brick, this one is silent as far as trying to really crank things up, 140 degrees. And blacktop, about 145 to 150, and this is just at 90. You can talk about this close to 160 once you get a little bit closer to 100 degrees. So just wanted to kind of go through a refresher as far as some of our hot surfaces go as we're going to be turning up the heat. Here, let me get over here and bring up our 10-day forecast again to show really where those temperatures are going to go. Also factoring in the mugginess, that is going to really crank up the heat index to around 100 to 105. That's really Sunday through, I would say, probably that Thursday time frame that we're going to have a chance for that, but especially especially on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. High temperatures at 97, 98, and 99. And as you can see, our lows don't really drop too much. That doesn't really give us a lot of recovery time, only dropping down into the mid-70s. So we're starting in the mid-70s most days next week, getting as hot as near 100 degrees, where some of us will hit that 100 point for the first time this season. So not great, but as long as you just plan accordingly, stay hydrated, all the above, you know what to do. But it's always the first one's the sneakiest. So just keep that in your mind that you got to stay weather aware, especially heading into next week. Stay traffic aware as well. What's going on so far this morning, Majestic?
It's starting to pick up, that's for sure. I-85 here, one of those days where hopefully you have some air conditioning in your car. You'll want to crank it up. If not, roll those windows down, turn that music up. It's a weekend, and boy, it's going to be a beautiful one. Lots going on, though, as we're looking at my map here. This one here, this is what's going on, an actual picture of it. There's a dump truck in the middle of the street, and it is causing some backups here. It's at Westinghouse, just eastbound, past Texlin Boulevard. So we'll continue to watch that for you. Not seeing significant impacts, but it might slow you down a couple of minutes. A new accident just now popping up. It's on Highway 49, York Road at Rivergate Parkway. You can see that yellow just indicating some slower moving traffic. And this one really hasn't gotten much better. I've been tracking and following it now for at least the last 30 minutes. It's on I-485 impacting northbound lanes, so the outer lanes. It's at exit 32, that's North Tryon Street. So if you are heading this way, delays are at about 5 minutes if that is where your morning commute typically takes you. And then that stalled vehicles on Sardis Road right here on Independence. Still seeing some yellow, meaning medium impacts, but traffic is still able to flow through that. We'll have another check on my maps coming up here shortly.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. A lot going on across the area this weekend. One of the big events is the annual Heroes Convention at the Charlotte Convention Center. That's today through Sunday. You don't want to miss it. By the way, information at heroesonline.com. Lots of guests there, and if you're a comic book fan, superhero fan, you don't want to miss it this weekend. The Heroes Convention at the Convention Center. Show hours today 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Heroes Convention at the Convention Center. One big thing going on this weekend. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Well, new this morning, AAA is projecting more than 72 million Americans will travel for the upcoming 4th of July holiday. That includes more than 2 million people right here in North Carolina. AAA says 6 million will hit the roads between June 28th and July 6th. That's up more than 2% compared to last year. Meantime, close to 6 million others plan to fly over during the holiday travel rush. Time now for a look at your weekend. Communities across the nation continue to celebrate Juneteenth this weekend. Here at home today, Waxhaw is hosting their 3rd annual Juneteenth celebration. It kicks off this afternoon at 6 at Downtown Park. Head out and enjoy music, food, some history, and more.
An effort is underway to help a highly decorated North Carolina Marine get the honor many feel he deserves.
It is an iconic image from the 1970s. A decorated Marine standing tall with a simple but powerful message, "Ask a Marine." It was the first United States Marine Corps recruitment poster to feature a black man, and it resonated.
A lot of the young Marines came in because they saw that poster, and most of them thought I was a Hollywood Marine. They thought that, I wasn't really a Marine.
That real Marine is retired Major James Capers Jr., now 87 years old, handpicked for the poster by the Secretary of the Navy.
Didn't ask me, but he said, "You will do these recruiting posters." And I said, "Yes, sir."
Capers earned the honor with his heroic, courageous, and legendary service in Vietnam.
So I was a special operations guy, and we were trained to kill folks and stay alive if we could.
Capers was a trailblazer, the first black officer in Marine Special Operations, and the first enlisted African American to lead a Marine reconnaissance company. He took part in dangerous classified missions, including one that turned especially bloody and perilous. Capers' service began when he enlisted in 1956 and didn't end with Vietnam. He made a 23-year career in the Marines. His home is filled with memorabilia, medals, and mementos of valor, service, and a life spent breaking barriers during segregation and the civil rights movement. On his chest, 3 Purple Hearts, the Silver Star, and 2 Bronze Stars, among others. But for many, one recognition is still missing: the Medal of Honor, the military's highest award.
It would mean a lot, of course, but not as much as survival of my men.
A movement is underway to secure that honor. House Resolution 3377 would authorize the president to award Capers the medal. A separate letter, signed by a group of senators and congressmen, has also been sent to President Trump, urging him to recognize Capers' incredible valor at Phu Loc.
It wasn't about me. It was about my troops.
James Capers Jr., described by many as one of America's greatest patriots, remains humble.
I did the best I could, but we lost a lot of good men. So if I should receive that medal, it'll be for my troops.
Wow, sacrifice and dedication.
Right.
Decades serving our country deserves
anything.
Possible medal.
Everything, yes,
right?
yes,
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, 7:55 right now. We're going to take a quick break. We're back in just 1 minute with a look at your forecast for the weekend and your morning commute. That's right here on WCNC Plus. Turn us on and leave us on.
Good morning, all. Look at these beautiful Carolina blues. 68 degrees right now in Hickory. We've now jumped up to 74 for you in Charlotte and Monroe. I'm loving that blue sky today, though. It's going to be great. Also, today is the best feeling day. This is the lowest level of dew point that you can have during an afternoon. Still sticky on Saturday, but then we see that uncomfortable air start to ramp back up. As for today, we're dry throughout today and 89, likely feeling like 89 by the end of the afternoon. Just picking up a few more clouds, but today is picture perfect. So good, I'm even calling it my pick of the week. Our heat index values are on the rise, though, right around 90 today, upper 90s Saturday and Sunday. The lower 100s on Monday, Tuesday, and I think we can throw Wednesday into that mix as well. Here's a 7-day forecast. Check it out. 90 is the cool spot, believe it or not, then up to 99 on Tuesday. So get ready for the first big heat wave of 2025. Also get ready for your morning commute with Majestic. What's going on?
Good Friday morning, everyone. Heading into the weekend, and my map is getting busy if you're getting ready to head out the door. A couple of accidents I want you to know about. This one right here, it's on Wilkinson Boulevard at Highland Street, bringing some minor impacts. I-485, the outer loop right here, you see that red, slowing traffic down by about 5 minutes for your morning commute. It's at exit 32, that's Tryon Street. And if you're taking Independence inbound, we do have a stalled vehicle that'll also slow you down just a bit at Sardis Road.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. on a Friday morning right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg filling in for Lisa. Right now, Charlotte transit leaders want your thoughts on several major projects planned over the next 30 years.
But neighbors have just under a month to make their voice heard. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live in Uptown to explain where to go to weigh in and what it means possibly for your commute. Destiny.
Yeah, this morning we've been talking about the 2055 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, also called MTP. And this is basically a roadmap for growth across the Charlotte region. It's a list of road projects that are planned out over the next 30 years, and public feedback is now open. It's available to view online. Now, this plan includes roadway and transit projects to improve things like safety and connectivity across the region, but only projects that can be funded with anticipated federal, state, or local dollars through the year 2055 made the list. The goal was to choose projects that are needed, but also sustainable and financially realistic. On Tuesday, the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization approved the list, and they're asking for public feedback through July 19th. You can provide that via comment online, by email, by mail, or in person at several community pop-up events across the region. The next couple of pop-ups are on June 28th, that's next Saturday, at the Huntersville Growers Market, the Union County Farmers Market, and at an entrepreneur event in Mooresville. There will also be 4 other pop-ups in Charlotte coming up on dates between July 1st and the 15th. There will also be opportunities for public comment during the CRT PO Board's public meetings. The next 2 are on July 16th as well as August 20th. You can sign up for public comment at least 5 minutes before those meetings start at 6 p.m. And then something that I wanted to address, because you may be thinking, why should I care about this? 2055 doesn't even sound like a real year. Well, I pulled up the interactive map that's now available online to view, and it separates it by intersection, interchange projects, roadway projects, and transit projects. And these are not just road projects that are happening way out from now. There's some that are included in the year 2025. So you may know I-45, those express lanes that are being worked on right now between I-77 and US 74 Independence. And then also I-40, the I-40, I-77 interchange up in Statesville, and then I-85, I-45 interchange improvements. That is happening in 2027, so that's between 2026 and 2035. It separates it kind of in 10-year increments. And then there's some projects that are at the far end of that, so between 2045 and 2055. So I-45 and South Tryon Street. And if you look at the interactive map, it'll show you reasons for why those projects were selected. They scored them, they separated them into tiers based off of safety, connectivity, things like that. So for example, I-45 and South Tryon Street, the location experiences heavy congestion and has a crash history of fatalities of drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Improvements may have to extend to adjacent signalized intersections. So that's an example. John Belk Freeway from Kenilworth Avenue to Davidson Street. That's a 2036 to 2045 project. Modifications to access to resolve weaving, safety, and congestion issues. So when you go through this interactive map, you have the opportunity to actually see a map where everything is. You can click on it. You can see what these projects, what they all entail. And then you have the opportunity also to give a comment. You can leave an up vote or a down vote. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, this is phase 2 of their project. This is something, the MTP plan is something that's updated every 4 years. So this is not new, but it is new for some people who may not have heard about it. So you can go to our website, go to the WCNC Charlotte News app. You'll have an opportunity to click on this, review all of the projects. There are a lot of them, so you just find the ones that'll impact you the most. And that's where you can provide that feedback through the summer. And then they're going to have this hopefully approved by next year, March 26th. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Destiny, lots of projects going on. Thanks so much.
All right, Chris joins us right now with another look at your weather impact forecast for Friday and the weekend.
Are you all ready for the weekend?
We are.
Woo!
Woo! That's what we're talking about. We have a beautiful blue sky to begin the day, so get outside and enjoy today because today is going to be the least hot and also the least humid. And the least in this situation is actually the best. So we are looking at maybe a few more clouds later in the afternoon. At worst, it'll become a partly cloudy sky. That's why it was an easy choice for the pick of the week. 90 degrees for a high will actually feel pretty cool compared to a real feel of 100 to 105 and a peak temperature right around, say, 99. Here is our dog of the day. This is Bella. Becky and Wayne sent me a Bella. And by the way, been waiting in my inbox since January, so we've been trying to get as much. Actually, this one was February, so we're almost to March. And I message people every Friday who's coming up the next week, so I'm actively doing those messages right now. We feature at 6:25 each and every day on WCNC, and sometimes you'll see him popping up intermittently here on WCNC Plus. Well, Bella is ready for a walk, and as you're walking your dog, temperatures are warming up quickly into the lower 80s right around 11 a.m., and then the upper 80s are here by the middle of the afternoon. Not much of a change in the heat index, just a few more clouds, as I mentioned, to end the day. So my director, Rusty, brought up this point. This is always a great reminder. The 7-second rule, it's testing the surface with the back of your hand because that's a lot more sensitive than the palm. The palm, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. No, if you do the back of your hand, if 7 seconds is unbearable for you, it's not great for your dogs. Your dogs are tough. They're not going to let you know that, oh, this is hot, this is uncomfortable. They're just going to keep walking because they're excited. 93 degrees, that's the high temperature tomorrow. Well, concrete can feel as much as 125, asphalt as much as 140. So just a friendly reminder as we're getting into the hot season, and we're pretty much already here. 90 degrees today, as I mentioned, is the cooler spot. 92 for you around Chirag, and then 86 around Hickory. Always head to the mountains if you want a break from the heat and the foothills. Today also is the longest day length, and that simply means that's the longest period of daylight. So 14 hours, 32 minutes, and 1 second is the total daylight that we have for today. The sun rose at 6:09, and it'll do that again tomorrow morning. And then it'll also set at 8:41. So it's actually today and tomorrow that are the longest quote days of the year, even though summer doesn't really start until 10:41. That's the exact time for the summer solstice, and that's PM. Through this weekend into next week, I think one of the biggest stories here are our lows. We have had a really warm start each and every morning here in June. 70 is actually the coolest low that we have over the next 10, because outside of that, it's mainly the mid-70s. Most popular temperature, 74 to 75. And I love looking at random stats here. Your June rankings through 19 days. Well, this is actually the 12th warmest set of lows that we've had in the month of June in Charlotte history. And this easily is going to be making the top 10. So we've really had the warmer mornings compared to the warmer highs. But coming up, I'm going to have your full forecast, talking a little bit more about how hot we're going to feel and when the rain chances return for next week. So let's get over to traffic first, where this is always the time that things are starting to be the busiest.
Oh yeah, things are definitely picking up as people are waking up, heading out the doors, starting their Friday morning. But that sunshine sure helps. Beautiful start to the day. I-85 here out towards Statesville looks like it's flowing just fine. Not seeing anything too concerning there. My map, though, it is getting quite busy. We'll take you to this accident here. It's a crash. It's on Wilkinson Boulevard at Highland Street. You can still see mainly green around it, so not too concerned as we're just seeing those minor impacts. This one, though, could slow you down about 5 minutes. Left-hand shoulder still blocked because of a crash. It's on I-85 northbound at exit 32. That's on Tryon Street. Just to the south, another stalled vehicle. We've had multiple this morning. This one is going to be on Independence and Sardis Road, but again, not seeing anything too significant when we're looking at those changed colors, mainly still green. I-77 York County, good morning to you. It's a beautiful start to the day. We'll have another check on those drive times and my map all coming up here shortly.
Well, a local nonprofit is seeking solutions for local veterans needing to find and renovate their homes. Purple Heart Home says veterans face unique housing challenges, including a higher risk for homelessness.
WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith spoke with one veteran sharing his experience.
Purple Heart Homes understands the importance of home to veterans on all fronts. It's why they do what they can to help find home solutions and employment opportunities to veterans throughout the country.
I'd actually, mentioned something to John about, if you ever need someone to need a roof, And I said, that's never going to happen. Things like that don't happen for me.
But on Monday, a project that would have cost several thousands of dollars to put together.
They did the whole complete house in one day. Those young men started at 6:30 that morning, and they worked till after 9 that night.
And several days' work.
It was going to be $20,000+ to have this house re-roofed.
Adding to Stubbs' surprise, the work didn't cost him a dime.
He told me that they wanted to put a roof on my house, and I said, I know you're kidding me. And next thing I know, everything started falling into place. The companies involved were incredible.
Purple Heart Home's mission is to help veterans like Stubbs in areas ranging from home renovations and restoration to appliances to job opportunities and more.
We are donated homes, which we rehab to whatever the need of the veteran might be, and we have a 50% mortgage model whereby we put the veteran in the home for half of the final appraised value.
So if you're a veteran needing assistance, there are ways to find help.
There's an application there for whatever program you're applying for. The bulk of what we do is our Aging in Place program, which is the things I just described. It's critical home repair need. It's the needs based on health, safety, and accessibility. Critical home repair need for Mr. Stubbs, it was a new roof.
So it's amazing what they do for the veterans.
More resources for benefits can be found on WCNC.com and on our WCNC Plus app. In Harrisburg, Bria Smith, WCNC Charlotte.
Happening today, a big weekend for superheroes and comic book lovers. Heroes Con kicks off its 3-day convention at the Charlotte Convention Center.
Here to talk with us this morning is Shelton Drum, owner of the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find comic book store on East 7th Street. Good morning, Shelton, and you have a guest with you too. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
She's not a guest. She is essential.
Essential to your everyday stuff there, right? Okay, so let's talk about this convention a little bit. What can people expect? And, this is really, really grown for you guys.
Lots of colors. 4-color world here, I guess you might say. Tons and tons of comic books from vendors all over the country and some out of the country. And 600, 500 professional artists who make those comic books?
600.
600, okay. We've got 300,000 square feet of comic books and comic book makers. And some cosplay. A lot of people dressed in, superhero costumes. It's just a lot of fun. Like I say, a lot of colorful stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of kids at heart, it sounds like. So let's say that you're not like the biggest comic book fan in the world. I would imagine there still would be a fun time to be had for a more casual fan.
Well, absolutely. I mean, besides the comic books themselves, there's all the, connected merchandise, all the licensing stuff, T-shirts and hats and
toys.
Yeah, lots of toys for kids.
Video games.
And the cosplay is fun to watch. Since we have a captive audience of great artists, we've got a stage where they can create art in front of people, and then on Saturday night we auction that art off. So that's a lot of fun. A lot of panels, a lot of workshops for people who aspire to make comics. We've got editors and educators who are talking about all that stuff. And we have interviews with the big names that we have on the guest list too. So there's just something going on all day, and even tonight there's another fundraiser auction going on at the Westin called the Cul-de-sac Drink and Draw. It benefits Michael J. Fox's Parkinson disease campaign.
Team Fox.
Team Fox, yeah. And like I said, the big auction is Saturday night at the Westin. So yeah, it's a 72-hour gig.
Never stops.
Yeah, I bet. And so, listen, I love all the cosplay. I think it's so interesting. Always fun to see people dress up like superheroes. What are some of the best costumes that you've seen in past events?
There was a Hulkbuster Ironman a few years ago. That was incredible.
Was he like 9 or 10 feet
He
tall?
was 10 feet tall. We had to help him through the doorways. That was amazing.
One year, a guy came with a molded masking made of me. It was creepy, but great. So he walked around the show the whole day looking exactly like me, carrying a vintage comic book. And it was kind of scary, actually, but it was a good cosplay. You never know what they're going to come with. We've had Josie and the Pussycats here. We've had the whole mystery machine.
The mystery machine. We've had people dress as the Beatles. It never. And people sometimes it's Superman, but as a Ninja Turtle. You just never know.
Yeah,
people are very creative, and it's awesome.
Love that, a hybrid Superman Ninja Turtle all in one. So, I mean, Charlotte, as we know, grows so much every single year. So, for the folks who are coming for the first time, how should they get the most out of this convention?
What was that question? How's what?
How do they get the most out of it?
How should they get the most out of this?
Gosh.
16 and under get in for free.
Yeah.
With an adult. So it's a good event for a family. So mom and dad, you got 3 kids, 16 and under, bring the whole family.
Yeah. One of the first things we always remind people of or suggest is wear good shoes.
Yeah.
It's a big room, and you probably can't cover it in one day. Just wear comfortable clothes and especially shoes, and don't need to pack a whole lot of other stuff because you can get it right here. If you need a bag or a backpack or anything you need, we got it.
Awesome. Okay, the last but probably most important question, right? Okay, DC or Marvel?
Well, there's no question there for me. That's Marvel.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm a Catwoman lover.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That's DC.
Yeah, that's DC. My first love for a comic book was Spider-Man #7. Came out in 1963. And I've loved Spidey and comics and this whole adventure ever since. That's a long time ago.
Well, listen, it's going to be a fun event. I know you guys have been doing it for years, and it's also a great way to get out of the heat. So
yes,
there's that
definitely.
as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
All right, take care. Have fun. All right, so if we can take the wider shot there, Marvel
Hi.
or DC?
Okay, well, can we remind me what the difference is?
I'm not good at this either. I really don't
Marvel,
know.
Spider-Man, the whole Marvel, what is it, universe?
Universe.
Okay.
Is that the Hulk or is that DC?
Hulk is Marvel.
The
DC's like Superman.
DC is Batman, Superman.
Oh, okay.
Wonder Woman.
I would have to say DC.
I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
myself.
I'm Marvel.
You would be Marvel.
I love Thor so much.
Yeah. I know. I knew you'd be Marvel.
Yeah.
Everyone always says that
Do I
have,
just
like-
scream Marvel?
You scream Marvel.
People say that I have like a superhero name, and I am not good with superheroes.
Oh, you do have a
And
superhero
so
name.
there's, I guess, a superhero called Storm,
Yep.
and they're like,
Yes.
you should dress up like that, and I have no clue. So which one is that?
Wolverines?
Yeah, it's Marvel.
Okay,
You should
Marvel.
do that. Really, you should.
I love to dress up for Halloween,
That's a
so
missed
maybe.
Yes,
There
you
go.
need to.
An easy one.
That's really
Very
cool.
easy. All right, how about the forecast?
All right, well, my Marvel self is going to
Yeah.
march over there, and I'm proud of it.
You should be.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Plus, Thor has this thunderous hammer. All right, I'll get off topic here. Today is going to be a no problem type of day. It's a little bit sticky right now, but then these values coming down. Still sticky air for your Saturday, and then after that, it's just uncomfortable for your Sunday, Monday, and beyond. And then we'll even get back to this meh range going forward. So I want to talk a little bit more about the longer term. Normally this time of year, we'll have highs in the upper 80s. The 80s are disappearing for a while. We're just going to be rocking the 90s day by day. So get out your Furbies and your Tamagotchis. You're looking at temperatures in the mid to the upper 80s though for the mainstream of today. So most of the afternoon, we're 85 to 89. That 90-degree point, some of us won't even hit it. I think a lot of us actually level out in 88, 89. I think that's just the top temperature we reach across the greater Charlotte area, and even if we do, it's very brief, doesn't last that long. This weekend though, we see a lot more hours in the 90s. 93 for your Saturday, 95 on Sunday. And I also removed the spotty rain chances. The only rain chances we really have in the near term is if you're watching from the high country, you could have a brief shower a little bit later on, but most of us don't have to worry about the rain until maybe late day on Wednesday. Leading up to that, we have 97 to 99 on Saturday and Sunday. Today actually feels like the actual air temperature by the end of the day. And then 102 to 104. At this point, we're flirting with that danger zone. And we have the highest heat indices, I think, on Tuesday. So here's a different look. I think it's Tuesday you could reach 105, 104 on Wednesday, and then beyond that, it's a little bit closer to that 100-degree point. So I think it's the day that we're really going to be keeping an eye on is this one. So Tuesday as of right now, Wednesday possibly as well, has the best chance for a heat advisory, and we potentially will be going weather alert for those days as well. Because the first heat advisory is always the one that gets people the most. Whenever there's a heat index expected to be 105 to 109, the National Weather Service is going to issue a heat advisory, and the new verbiage change. This was excessive heat warning. Now this year we call it just extreme heat warning. It's better verbiage if it's a heat index over 110. Those are exceptionally rare for the Charlotte area, and we are getting close to that extreme range though. So a heat advisory, again, some parts of the Carolinas will be under that on Tuesday heading into Wednesday, and that's what this product from the National Weather Service is representing as well. That purple to that pink color, that's where you're going to have the best chance, the highest threat, because you also have what's called the urban heat island right around Charlotte that makes it feel a little bit hotter than, say, some of the surrounding areas. Here's the top, 99 on Tuesday, 98 on Wednesday, leveling out in the mid-90s, so really no break from the heat. That's why today was an easy choice for my pick of the week. Let's get over to our morning traffic with Majestic, see what's going on, see if things have improved.
All right, not looking too bad as you're heading out the door. Definitely picking up as people are heading out. I-85, it's a beautiful start to the day. My map, it's still a little busy. We have mainly minor accidents that are ongoing right here. It's on I-485. I've been following this one for a little while now. It's on the outer loop and it's on Tryon Street. That's exit 32, so that may slow you down just a few minutes for your morning commute. Otherwise, this one here, it's a crash on Madison Ave and Clifton Street, just outside of Uptown. And then Wilkinson Boulevard at Highland Street, mainly green. Again, a crash right here. We'll have more on your weather and traffic all coming up here quick.
Thanks. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws. The film was the first real summer blockbuster and changed Hollywood back in 1975. With NBC airing the film tonight, Mark Barger talked to Turner Classics movie host Dave Carter about the film and its impact.
Sharks are actually trying to avoid people to the extent that they can.
But sharks grab headlines and sometimes provide punchlines. One shark even generated long lines of moviegoers when Jaws dominated the summer of 1975.
It was #1 at the box office for 14 weeks straight. That means that Jaws was the #1 movie for the entire calendar summer of 1975.
The story of a giant shark terrorizing the waters of a small New England beach town.
You yell shark, we've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Became a phenomenon.
Taps into a fear that so many of us have while we're sitting at the beach on vacation. What could happen to us when we go out there in the water?
Filled with memorable scenes and iconic lines.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Along with John Williams' menacing score. This adaptation of Peter Benchley's novel ignited the career of a 27-year-old director named Steven Spielberg.
Anyone who sees Jaws for the rest of their life remembers where they were when they saw it, how old they were, and how it made them feel, and how scared it made them.
And Jaws' box office success meant the approach to summer movies changed forever.
Before Jaws, I don't think Hollywood studios really realized the power of the summer box office and the potential of it.
But after getting that first bite, Hollywood's been feasting on summer blockbusters ever since. Mark Barker, NBC News.
I really enjoy Jaws. I mean,
a classic.
It is, and I mean the effects are sort of cheesy at this point.
I love it though.
But I love the scenery. Like
it's so good.
It's the
Where did it take place?
Cape Cod.
Yeah, Cape Cod. Yeah.
And the outfits are like retro and 70s. Yep. It's actually like a neat time capsule more than anything.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, we love the ride.
The ride.
I'm not sure if it's still there.
I think Universal,
it should be.
Should be, right?
Especially with the 50 coming up.
I know, I hope so.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's it's a good horror movie that's really not really that scary.
No.
He's looking at me because I haven't seen it. I wasn't going to say it, but I have not seen it. I'm not a good movie watcher. So everyone's like talks about these things like, I'll fall asleep.
So you are not going to watch a movie, especially if it has superheroes.
No.
Okay.
She's like, not doing it.
You've learned this about me. I go out and
Honestly,
I go do things. I'd rather take a hike than watch a movie.
Some people are weekend warriors. You are a weekday, weekend, every day.
Just a
That's
warrior.
the key, though,
A warrior.
The moment I stop and watch a movie, I'm asleep within 5 minutes. You got to keep on going with this schedule.
Good to know yourself. I get it totally. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, we've got another check your weekend forecast and a check of your Friday commute right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, hello there. 90 degrees, that's our high today, mainly hanging out in the upper 80s, pretty much where we should be for this time of the year. Adding a few more clouds to the portrait of the day, and it's just going to be an absolutely gorgeous day. Today's actually the pick of the week. It's actually the least humid day that we have over the next 7, and it's going to be a great night to be at the ballpark. Night's taking on the Stripers, and you can expect those temperatures to be down to about 80 degrees by 10 p.m. Rain chances, don't worry about it. Not today, not this weekend, and really not until the middle of next week. And at that point, it's just an isolated chance as one could pop up. After that, 90 goes to 93 to 95. So our first shot at the mid 90s. Once we hit this mark, we're really going to be ranging anywhere from the mid to the upper 90s. But if you factor in that moisture content in the air, it'll feel more like 100 to 105 degrees. Stay weather aware, stay hydrated, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. Now let's check to see how our morning commute is faring with Majestic.
Good Friday morning, everyone. Heading into the weekend with a beautiful start to our Friday morning. Here's I-77, York County. Good morning to everyone waking up and joining us from South Carolina as well. You can see some of our drive times this morning. Nothing too out of the ordinary, so we'll take it. About 21 minutes if you're coming in from Matthews, 29 if you're coming in from Gastonia. My map has some minor incidents you'll want to know about. We're starting to see this one actually clear up, which is good news. I-485 northbound, we did have an accident there. Those outer lanes at exit 32, that's Tryon Street, clearing out now, but might slow you down just a couple of minutes. Have a great Friday.
Thank you for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Megan Bragg. A live look at Lake Norman. Going to be a beautiful day out on the water. Look at that right there, as no relief is in sight with this hot weather. In fact, next week the forecast is calling for dangerous heat. WCNC Charlotte Anna King reports on how local groups are stepping up to help those most at risk.
Yeah, with feels like temperatures pushing past 100 degrees this week, staying cool isn't about comfort, it's about survival. Now, county leaders and organizations like Block Love Charlotte are looking for ways to help those who need it most. Right now, temperatures are hitting dangerously high numbers. And for many across Charlotte, there's relief in the AC at home. But for others, there can be nowhere to go.
Normally in the afternoon, it's just a trickle. Today, we are already full.
Block Love Charlotte is one organization that's opened their doors to help with ice, cold water, and a cool place to sit down for those with no way to escape the heat.
Last evening, we had a packed house, including children, larger families.
And people who would otherwise be sweating it out on the hot sidewalks are finding shelter and a little bit of peace.
It's been so hot lately. She's like an angel to me. She's a good lady. She's like my second mom that I never had.
And it's not just unhoused people facing danger in this extreme heat. Mecklenburg County is also working to help older residents stay safe. In partnership with Duke Energy, the county is giving out free box fans to seniors while supplies last. And with the worst of summer still to come, organizations say they aren't slowing down.
We're going to continue to have our doors open, making sure people know they have somewhere to go.
In Charlotte, Anna King, WCNC Charlotte.
Good idea to stay cool this weekend.
You try.
You try.
Do best you can.
Get in a pool.
I have a slip and slide.
You have a slip. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, well, no, we've already been doing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can just picture that.
Well, I have an almost 3-year-old, and I saw that, and I was like, sweet.
You're like,
I have an excuse to get this.
This is really for you.
Oh, no, it was awesome. He's just learning it, but then you forget the burn that some of those things
Oh, my
are.
gosh, yes.
Oh, man, but regardless of how you're doing at the kiddie pool, a lot of people will even get those smaller ones for the dogs, and they put their own feet in it because really cooling your feet is a good way to do it. Cooling the top of your head is a good idea as well.
Right.
So let's get to, I think, the biggest stat about today, Megan. Today is the longest period of daylight.
Nice.
So enjoy 14 hours, 32 minutes, and 1 second. Now, we've already burned some of that. Officially, the sun rose at 6:09, and then 8:41 is the sunset. Now, officially, it is the start of summer, so the solstice begins right around 10:41, and it's 10:41 that we're officially calling it summer. But I think one of the biggest pessimistic thoughts is like, oh no, the days are only getting shorter after this. Well, technically tomorrow is still exactly 14 hours and 32 minutes and 1 second of daylight. After that, yes, you do lose seconds, only mere seconds on the day as far as the amount of daylight goes, but it's not really a big change until you really get well a month from now. Now let's eat some popsicles and get to some headlines. Today is the pick of the week. This is the best feeling day. This is actually the coolest day. I feel really weird saying 90 degrees is the coolest day of the week, but we're about to embark into a big time heat wave, one that we haven't had since about this time last year. Now, our storm chance is also taking a break. No chance for storms today, nor tomorrow or this weekend. It's next week, really at the end of the week, that we have a better chance. Next week, also feeling more like 100 to 105. It is only getting hotter day by day through the weekend as well. So highs, as you see a beautiful Charlotte and Dallas blue sky off in the distance, 86 in Hickory. 80 degrees right around Boone. I think you will get to 92 around Chiraw and 91 in Lancaster. And our lows overnight only dropping down to 70 degrees. So today is the coolest high. Tomorrow is actually the coolest low. Again, cool is very weird saying 70 and 90. We can call it the bottom. How about that? But then after that, we're about 77 for the start on Tuesday, and then 74 and 75 for our lows most of next week. Speaking of, I was checking on some of the June rankings and June stats. So from the 1st to the 19th, so the first 19 days of June, we're almost done with the month, y'all. It's crazy. We're actually averaging the 12th warmest set of lows in Charlotte history. This is easily going to be in the top 10. So that's averaging all the lows together, and 68.6 degrees is what on average we're waking up to or starting the day with right around the time the sun is rising up. As far as the Temperatures and total precipitation, nothing crazy, the 27th and the 33rd, as you can see there. How you feel over the coming days, also going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable and a little bit sticky on your Sunday, heading into Monday as well. As I already mentioned, a high of 90 degrees today with some sunshine is the best day of the week, so I want you to get outside and enjoy it. Here it is, though. 97 on Monday, 99 on Tuesday, 98 degrees on Wednesday. We still haven't got past 91, and I'm talking about a chance to challenge 100 degrees. Yeah. Think about ways that you can stay cool. Also, each of those days, Monday through Wednesday, could feel as hot as up to 105 degrees, mainly that 100 to 105 range. No real rain is returning until late day on Wednesday, and even that is just a mere chance. Well, there's a 100% chance that you're going to get your morning traffic report from Majestic, and here it is.
All right, good morning, everyone. With such a hot forecast ahead, it's going to be a good idea to run those errands earlier in the day, or if you have any yard work you want to do, of course, get that done as well earlier so you can find a nice way to stay cool, including as we're looking outside. I mean, I-77, it's absolutely gorgeous. You're going to need those sunglasses. Go fill up your water bottle. Make sure you're staying nice and hydrated. Those drive times aren't looking terrible. About 27 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont, just under 30 if you're coming in from Gastonia this morning. As we switch it over to my map, you can see a few things are popping up. This one here has been ongoing for about an hour now. It's out towards northeast Charlotte. It's on I-485. Northbound lanes are being impacted, so the outer loop, it's at exit 32. That's Tryon Street there, just slowing you down a few minutes. Traffic is still able to go through. It's just going to move a little slower than it typically does. This one here just popped up. It's on Valentine's Commons Parkway at Johnston Road, so be mindful of that. That's also going to add on a couple of extra minutes for that morning commute, but again, traffic can still move forward. We're looking at this here. It's a stalled vehicle. It's on Albemarle Road at Redmond, seeing that yellow there indicating medium impacts as you're heading out. We'll have another check on those roads coming up in just a few minutes, but Megan, this is what's going on right now.
All right, thank you, Majestic. This morning, crews continue to survey the rock slide on I-40. This is an aerial view we're looking at right now of the scene along the Tennessee state line. It shows how widespread the damage is. Crews tell us it might be 2 weeks until they can fully clear the rock slide and flooding debris. This portion was already heavily damaged by Helene and had only one lane open each way as those repairs were underway. The Tennessee DOT says some good news, all struck vehicles have been removed. They provided an update for us last night. Take a listen.
What are the concerns going through this severe weather season that you guys are still thinking on? Do you think this could happen again potentially?
It's certainly possible. This is an area that has proven to be prone to rock slides and mudslides, some flooding. So seeing what we've seen since yesterday is not extremely foreign. I mean, it's something that folks in this area are used to. The good news, at least, is that while there's a lot of debris on the roadway, a lot of mud, still standing water that we've got to wait to when that recedes, the good news is that this is not nearly as extensive as what we saw with Hurricane Helene. I mean, that wasn't just a generational storm. That was a multi-generational storm. It was something we've never seen before in our part of the country. Hopefully we never see that again. The work for this rock slide and flooding, we anticipated taking about 2 weeks until we get I-40 back to what it was before Wednesday afternoon. And our crews and our contractors will work diligently to get this roadway back open as quickly as possible.
My next question, Mark, is about those detours. I know you guys already have those up there. What should drivers realize as they are getting towards this area, and what detours would you suggest for folks to use?
Well, it's a good thing that there are multiple interstates in this area that folks can use to get around the state line, Tennessee, North Carolina on I-40. So we're telling folks in Tennessee that they should use I-81 north and then take that to I-26 east and access North Carolina that way. Wide loads, much like it was during Hurricane Helene, before we got I-40 open on both sides of the state line, we're telling those wide loads to use I-81 north to I-77 south into Virginia and then back into North Carolina that way. So it does add some time, obviously, to folks that are trying to get to and from their vacation spots, just to and from their normal daily activities. But the most important thing is here that those interstates will keep them safe, because it's just not safe to travel between I-40, between Tennessee and North Carolina on I-40 right now, which is why we have it shut down.
There's so much going on day to day. So what does that look like for folks that aren't there, just behind the scenes?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that pictures and video really do it justice, what has happened to I-40 in Tennessee and North Carolina. And as bad as it is on our side of the state line, the amount of earth that was washed away on September 27th of 2024, North Carolina has it pretty bad as well. So this, unfortunately, is not the type of thing that can be a quick rebuild to have 2 lanes open in each direction on both sides of the state line. This is a long-term reconstruction project for both the both the Tennessee Department of Transportation as well as the NCDOT. We talk with them all the time. We work with them all the time in trying to find the best ways to keep that traffic flowing, both for your normal everyday travelers and as well as all the commercial traffic that has to go through this area. So, we understand that, having that detour, while it is safer, it does add a lot of time. It can delay things. But again, the most important thing is to try to keep everybody safe here. And that's what we are dedicated to do.
So many people go up to Gatlinburg and then go up to Knoxville as well and try to use I-40. So any other things that you just wanted to make note of?
I would tell folks that you should always adhere to all message boards that are on these roadways. And if you have any questions about what's going on in the Tennessee side of the state line, go to smartway.tn.gov. It gives real-time information as to what's happening on our interstates and state routes. So if there are crashes, if there are backups, roadways that are closed, obviously like I-40 at the state line, we have our traffic cameras on there as well. It's a terrific resource for folks to use. You should definitely check it out before you get behind the wheel, but obviously don't use that resource when you are driving. Make sure that you're keeping your phone hands-free.
Well, this morning, people in the mountain counties waking up to downed trees and other damage. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard went to Caldwell County to see the damage herself. She spoke with neighbors there who tell WCNC Charlotte they've never seen a storm like this one.
Well, the people I've spoken to in this community say this storm was worse than Helene. They say it came and it went pretty quickly, but not without leaving behind extensive damage. Take a look. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a driveway. And right now, neighbors are trying to figure out exactly how they're going to commute in and out and get out of here safely. Right now, they're trying to fill the holes good enough for them to safely drive over. Once again, this just one part of the community that's suffering from extensive damage, from fallen trees to even homes flooding. I spoke to folks who say they would have never prepared for something like this.
She said it got bad, but not this bad. It was, like I said, she's 5'4", and she said it was past her kneecaps. So if I was standing, it would be by my shins. Oh, God. So, yeah, we had to take a lot of the stuff and had to move out and then take our dogs that we have 4 of and bring them by our mom and dad's house.
I've lived here 54 years and never seen it like this. If we see the state come in here, we know that it's a serious situation.
Now, we did have local and state crews out here trying to help clean up, remove some debris, restore power to folks who are still currently sitting in the dark. Of course, as we continue to learn more, we'll be sure to keep you updated. Reporting in Caldwell County, Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
Western North Carolina continues to come together nearly 9 months after Hurricane Helene. This week, pet brand Chewy donated more than 30 tons of dog and cat foods to folks impacted by the storm. This is video sent to us from a viewer showing folks loading up tractor trailers at the Boone United Methodist Church on Tuesday. The church says they gave out the food to roughly 400 families. Meantime, Chimney Rock State Park is prepared to reopen for the first time since the storm hit, and starting Monday, visitors can officially book their reservations. The park is expected to reopen next Friday, marking a major milestone in the area's recovery. Officials say you can expect limited capacity and hours while the park adjusts to welcoming back visitors. And Chris, that is huge. So happy that they are opening back up.
And they've been working around the clock.
Yes,
trying
absolutely.
To fix that. And truly, I didn't expect them to be this far along. It hasn't even been a year yet.
Right.
It seems like forever ago, but I think it's only been like, 9 months now? Wait, no, it's the 6th. Yeah, 9 months.
Right.
So yeah, no, well done with that. And there's a big campaign right now saying we're open. They need people to come up there. Because at first you wanted to be sensitive. You didn't want to say, hey, I don't want to get in the way. No, they want you. So go up there. We're going to be going up at some point in the next couple of months. So looking forward to it.
And a great weekend to get out and about as long as you're staying cool.
Yes. See, and that's also the thing. The mountains are usually 10 degrees cooler.
There you go.
So if you want to escape the heat, it's not much, but it's better. I want to talk a little bit more about what Tradisha was zeroing in on. So here is some of the estimated rainfalls from Caldwell County, seeing anywhere from about 3 to 4 inches of rain that fell in a really short period of time. And this was a quick moving system. This is really the definition of training storms, where you had one after another. So that's why it was such a bad event. So that's why you saw a lot of rain. There's also some wind damage associated with it. Meanwhile, yesterday, a lot of you probably saying, well, nothing happened, Chris. Well, it appeared that way, but really what was happening was that all this activity was really off towards the north. And here, I'll show you. You saw some storms to the north thereof, and then everything pretty much died out yesterday. So most of us were storm-free, but it was this one little storm here. I can actually pause it. This is most likely that caused all that damage. A lot of those positive lightning strikes associated with that. It looks like there was even that hail potential. So it was really just that one big storm that we had across the area. So those are the rain totals, but the thing is, we don't really need the rain at this point. So the first time since after Helene, this is last seen in October, we have a blank map for our drought monitor. So every Thursday, this is a new update. This is the last time I'm going to be showing it for quite some time, unless we start to see the drought trying to come back. But all in all, it has been a very wet May. It's been a wet June overall. Nothing that's been record-breaking here locally, but we have seen a couple of spots like what happened south of Uptown last week, what just happened over in Caldwell County. We're really seeing a lot of these isolated rain events, and it really just shows that even general thunderstorms still has a chance for that flash flooding. If one forms after another, it can happen anytime during the summer season. Right now, today, we don't have to worry about anything like that happening. Maybe a light rain shower up in the mountains, but today through the weekend, everything is staying nice and dry for your Monday and Tuesday. Whole lot of nothing, 0 for our rain chance. But then we start to see the usual 20%, where if it's going to be a hot and humid day, you're going to have a chance for a pop-up shower and thunderstorm. We especially see that Wednesday heading into next weekend. What about our long-term trend? We are trending to be close to 99 degrees on Tuesday. So some of us will hit 100, the 100-degree mark for the first time, but all of us will at least have a chance for it to feel like 100 degrees, factoring in that mugginess. There's a 90% chance that we have above average temperatures, which would bring us to about 89 plus to 90 by the end of June. And boy, are we going to be there. Once we get into the mid-90s, and that's what we're expecting on Sunday, we still haven't got past 91, so we have to pass that first. I think we have the lower 90s to the mid-90s Saturday, Sunday. 97, 99, 98, 96, 97. Those are your highs next week. So the mid to the upper 90s to simplify it. And then we're down to a cool 94 by the 29th of June. So boy, are we starting off summer really with a big flash. And those temperatures are also not really going to recover too much through the overnight. Sometimes if it dropped down to the 60s. Allows us to cool down a little bit more. Now, Tuesday morning, we're starting off at 77, and each morning pretty much 74 to 75. So at least you're going to remember your lows, 74, 75 through much of next week. So there you go. Just get ready for the big heat wave of 2025. So this is, of course, the biggest so far. We could do it several more times throughout the summer, but it's always the first one that you have to stay most weather aware and stay the most cautious. Now, be cautious as you head out for your morning commute. Let's check with Majestic to see what is going on in the near term.
All right, good morning, everyone. Heading out the door. It is a nice start to the day. Want to show you those roads. This is I-85. It is becoming a little busier. Of course, people are waking up. A lot of people are already awake at this point, but they are up and at 'em doing whatever they need to do for their Friday. Almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Boy, it's gorgeous out there. Not seeing any problems when it comes to weather this morning, but you can see our drive times are pretty typical from Belmont into Charlotte, about 26 minutes if you're heading this direction. My map here still still has a few minor incidents to let you know about. You can see this one here. It's kind of been my watch spot, what I've really been keeping my eye on. Left-hand shoulder still blocked because of a crash. It's on I-485, impacting northbound lane, so the outer loop right there. It's at exit 32. That's Tryon Street. And then we have the stalled vehicles on Albemarle Road and Redmond Road. Noticing mostly green, though, so it seems like it's off to the side, not really impacting your morning commute. And then this one here is our newest one. It's on Valentine Commons Parkway at Johnston Road, seeing some yellow, so just meaning we do have some minor impacts. It is gorgeous outside for your Friday morning. Grab those sunglasses and take it easy. Megan.
All right, thanks, Majestic. New this morning, AAA is projecting more than 72 million Americans will travel for the upcoming 4th of July holiday. That includes more than 2 million people right here in North Carolina. AAA says 6 million will hit the roads between June 28th and July 6th. That's up more than 2% compared to last year. Meantime, close to 6 million others plan to fly over during the holiday travel rush.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. A lot going on across the area this weekend. One of the big events is the annual Heroes Convention at the Charlotte Convention Center. That's today through Sunday. You don't want to miss it. By the way, information at heroesonline.com. Lots of guests there, and if you're a comic book fan, superhero fan, you don't want to miss it this weekend. The Heroes Convention at the Convention Center. Show hours today 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Heroes Convention at the Convention Center. One big thing going on this weekend. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
This morning, Gaston County Animal Care and Enforcement says it's overwhelmed and needs your help to save lives. The agency posting on Facebook last night that it's significantly over capacity with dogs. It has 120 dogs in care and only 60 kennels. It's only doing emergency intakes until further notice. The agency says it's hoping people consider fostering or adopting a dog to help with the strain. The agency adoption fees are covered through July 4th. All right, well, listen up, owners. If you think your four-legged friend is the best and should be seen by everyone, now's your chance. The Humane Society of Charlotte and Noda Brewing Company are entertaining and entering their final stretch of their Rescue Brew contest. WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle explains how you can get your pet's face on your favorite can of beer.
If your pet loves the camera, or maybe not, they could be right there on one of Charlotte's most popular brews. The Humane Society of Charlotte and Noda Brewing have teamed up for the annual Rescue Brew 2025.
Who doesn't want their pet on a can of beer? It winds up being a huge competition every year, which is fabulous. And it started 5 years ago. It was an idea from our team that we brought forward to the Humane Society of Charlotte, and they ran with it. And it's just been such a great partnership for the last 5 years.
It's not your average modeling gig, but for one lucky dog and one special cat, it's a chance to be featured front and center on a can of craft beer and a calendar. Kelly Heiler is the marketing director of Noda Brewing.
Every year we sell all the cans.
The Humane Society's Meg Doherty says it's a great way to celebrate our pets and raise funds at the same time.
We love this competition. We love seeing people submit their pets and vote, and the friendly competition that ensues in that last day of voting is always so fun to watch. And at the core of this, all the funds raised are helping animals here in our care at the Humane Society of Charlotte, so it's really fueling our mission.
Twitter pet parents submit a photo, share why their pet is the perfect pick, and then their votes roll in. Each $1 donation counts as one vote, with all proceeds supporting the Humane Society.
So we're hoping to raise $80,000 with this competition, and all of those funds will help to support our mission here to support pets and people in the Charlotte community.
Your cat or your dog. Rescue Brew 2025. It's a furry competition for your cat or your dog. You'll find the link on our website, WCNC.com. At the Humane Society of Charlotte, I'm Larry Sprinkle, WCNC Charlotte.
Look who it is. Here he is.
Fun. That's so much fun. You think about it.
It's awesome. I
cat,
think it's
your dog?
awesome.
You got a dog?
I have a dog. I know we were talking about it. Yeah, we were talking about how we wanted to submit our animals. But if you think your pet has what it takes, and for this coming Monday night, you can enter still before midnight. when you need to enter.
Vote is very important. In fact, I think if you look at this, your can or dog can be on this can right here. Can of Brew from Nona Brewing Company. This is their 5th year doing this, and once again, all the funds go to the great things Humane Society of Charlotte does. So you can enter your pet or vote. You can go on to our website, WCNC.com, with a link to all the information you need.
Yeah, it's such an awesome idea, like brilliant idea.
It's a fun time, and then the fact that you got a can of beer, you can drink the beer.
And then you got your dog on it.
By the way, they sell out of this every year for 5 years now, so it's a great fundraiser for the Humane Society. And thanks to the folks over at Nona Brewing for doing this.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for doing the story, Larry.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to see you. Okay, at 8:56, we'll have a quick update on weather and traffic on the broadcast side, and you'll see us stream those headlines right here as well. And then our very own Jane Monreal will take over the live Impact News studio, and she'll have all the breaking events as they happen right from our area and across the nation. You can just log on and see right here on WCNC Plus.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the best day of the week, in my opinion, because it is the least hot and the least humid. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. 90 degrees still, but we're mainly hanging out in the mid to the upper 80s throughout today. A sunny to a mostly sunny one, just a few more clouds later in the afternoon. Night's game going to be fantastic. Great day to sit in the stands. Temperatures down to about 80 degrees 10 p.m. and down to 70 to start off your Saturday. Low to the mid 90s for our highs for your Saturday and Sunday. Mid to the upper 90s through most of next week, feeling like 100 to 105. Stay cool, y'all. Let's head over to traffic with Majestic.
All right, and it's a great day because it's Friday. We are heading into a beautiful but very hot weekend ahead. Live look outside, I-85 is out towards Statesville. You can see traffic is flowing just fine. Not seeing any major concerns. We do have several minor ones, though. I-485 right here, exit 32, that's Tryon Street. The outer loop is being impacted still because of a crash. It's blocking one lane at this time. And then a new crash popping up. It's on Beatty's Ford Road at Friendship Village Place. Have a great Friday and take it safe.
Verify lady.
First verify lady.
So do people send you ideas sometimes, or do you?
Yeah, both. Okay. Yeah. She's a national girl. You were a fan. You're a fan from day one, weren't you, Robert?